Okay, here we are, tutorial number 2. It's time to start making money and stop talking. So, let's start with the easiest way to make money as a noob in this game, and that will be contracts. Super easy to do, and super cheap for a noob. So here we have contracts, so let me show you from the scratch here. So up here, contracts, little box looking icon, you just click on that. There's 3 ways to look at it. This settlement's contracts, meaning the settlement you're currently docked in, if you are docked. Next is all contracts, meaning all contracts within range. And then the last one is must do contracts, which just is another word for contracts that you've already started and need to finish. So in this case, we're going to do this settlements because we're parked at Steel Nargval, which happens to be where we need to do contracts for. You'll notice that more contracts have loaded into the all contracts or other areas, but we're going to just start with where we are so we don't get confused. So right here, from meaning where you're picking the contract up from, to meaning where you're delivering it to and how far away it is. This is in miles. Again, they use yards, miles, feet. They have a very, and then meters sometimes. It's a very weird measurement system. I don't really know what they're trying to go for here. So we're going to pick up all these contracts. See here, the weight is 1,000. So the way we can know if we can fit all these contracts is we click on our ship, Shibe MK2, cargo, 794 out of 42,080. So we have 42,000. If you divide that by 1,000, that means we have 42 slots. We don't even have that many slots. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm going to transfer all my stuff over here, except for that crystal, just so it's not in my hold. And I have more room for contracts. In fact, really quickly, before you start your contracts, best bet is to click on that crystal and activate it. What that crystal represents is a shield. Think of it as shields. Each one of these crystals is a damage shield that stands between you, your ship, and whatever's attacking you. So you want to activate that and put it on your hull. Alright, so let's pick up some contracts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, well, we don't want to get these because these go to Gerard. That's not where we want to go. So we want to pick up as many as we can fit. 4, 8, 12, 16 contracts. 1, 2, 3. You'll notice they're restarting. There's more coming in. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 contracts. So it says cargo moved into Shibe MK2. That's our ship. As long as there's room in your ship and it's the only ship docked there, the cargo will auto move onto your ship. It used to be that you had to drag it over, so that's kind of a nice feature. 4, 8, 12. Oh, yeah, that's right. We can fit 16. Excuse me. Let's do 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there we are, 16. Our hull is full. Each of these contracts pays out 22 silver. So you multiply 22 times 16. It's something like 300 silver. It's not a lot. It's pretty measly, but that's okay. We're going to improve that pretty quickly. So first thing we want to do is, well, we need to know where shelter is. Where the heck is it? We can look on our world map and see it's pretty much right next door. It's just to the west. And sure enough, there's something to the west. If I zoom in a little bit, I can see that little white T. Click on it. There it is, shelter, Blossomy Lowlands. Another way to do it is you can click on your contracts, must do contracts, and if you click on one, it puts a circle around where you need to go. That way you never truly get lost. We have 71 hours to complete this. Gosh, I hope we can finish in time, since it takes 5 minutes to get there. We're going to turn our ship using the controls that we learned at the end of the last tutorial before the game crashed on me. And we're going to go full speed. You can autopilot there if you'd like, or you can manually fly. In this case, I'm going to manually fly for a few minutes so I can show you the controls one more time. I'm setting my flight ceiling to max, as high as I can go without damaging my ship. You'll see it's set at 1402. My max is 1500. 1402 should be fine though, because shelter's very close. The higher we go, the faster our ship flies, because there's less air resistance as you go up in altitude because the air gets thinner. Now there is a tipping point where you go too high and there's not enough air to push your ship along and you start slowing down. For a noob ship, there is no point at which it slows down up high because it only goes to 1.5. There are other ships, like for example the Negotiator and the Merchant, which you'll see in future tutorials, that can go up to 5 miles or 5,000 yards. They don't explain. And after about 4,000, your efficiency starts to drop. So keep that in mind as you get better ships that can go higher. We're just rolling along in our fancy little ship. And remember what I said about chat, most of these are Russian. These are obviously not, these are NPCs. It's terrible English. I submitted an English fix to the developers recently. Hopefully that will change, but they're all lowercase. That's how you'll know if it's English or not. These here behind us are brawlers, if you're curious about your next level ship. The first level is our little noob balloon. Carries, you know, just 16 slots, very small amount of cargo, but it's good for what we need to do. Your next level ship is going to be the Brawler. If this is your first character, you're going to get all the resources to build this next level ship for free. Whereas because I created this character as my third character, I paid gold for it, I don't get that benefit, unfortunately. You get 2 free characters, so enjoy all that free stuff that you get with them. Just remember, if you get to the point where you buy a character, you don't get all the cool stuff. That's another way that admins are trying to make it so that free-to-play players aren't screwed. Speaking of free-to-play, since we're flying, I might as well show you one other thing. You might be wondering, why are there 2 currencies in the game? How do they interact with each other? How do they matter toward each other? Well, if I open the market tab, and I go to money, and I go to gold, whatever that says, we just call it gold in English, there's 2 tabs here. There's the purchase tab, meaning you can buy 1 gold at the cost of 390 silver. Well, we have 0, so that won't work. Or you can sell 1 gold for 100 silver. Now, these prices are totally different depending on where you're at. It changes this is a player market, and even though there aren't very many players, there is still a market for it. So if I'm a gold buyer and like, hey, I'm gonna pay for 360,000 gold for 40 bucks because I'm rich, well, I can do that. Let me land the ship before I fly too far. I can do that if I want, if I'm rich and have no life, and I can sell 100 of that gold for 100 silver each, which comes out to, I believe, 10,000 silver, which is nothing. This is a terrible price, by the way. Please don't do this. You can make way more than that. That's how gold and silver interact. There's a lot of demand from the community to change it back to a single currency, but until they do, if they ever do, you just have to live with this, or you can completely ignore it too. There are some items that are available for gold only, so you will have to buy gold on the market in order to buy them. This isn't a terrible price, 390. You could probably get down to 300 if you travel the world and look for better prices, but this is a decent price. And we can make this kind of silver pretty quickly in just a little bit here, as soon as we start upgrading. Everything else is available for silver. Players can choose to sell it for gold, but generally nobody buys things for gold, so I wouldn't recommend you try to sell resources for gold. We'll get into that in the mining tutorial. Here are the books, of course. You can buy all sorts of different skill books depending on what you want to learn. You do not need skill books for general base level skills. Unfortunately, we can't learn any skills yet because we have 0 silver. Even Pilotage 1, which lets us have a second ship, is going to take 720 silver, which we do not have. We will soon, though. If you signed up under someone, like if you signed up under me or one of your friends, then you're going to get medallions here on the right. These medallions represent free skills. If I wanted to learn a mid-tier or high-tier skill, I could spend one of those medallions. Let's bring that back. And instantly learn it and not pay any money for it. Look at that. We've got 2852 silver now. All right. We've got money. It's not much, but it's something, right? Well, if I want to start making more money, the obvious thought is, well, I'm going to need more ships so I can move more stuff at once. So I would want to learn pilotage level 1. So let's start with that. Pilotage level 1. Before I hit yes, you can just see here on the bottom right, 720 silver. It takes 12 minutes, not too long. They can be rushed if you're a gold buyer and you want to pay to win. You can click here, finish it for 598 gold. That's a horrible ripoff. Please don't do it. I strongly recommend against rushing skills. Skills are way overpriced as far as gold rushes go. So there we go. We dropped our cargo off, and you notice that I didn't have to do anything to make that money. As soon as I landed, the cargo auto-transferred off my ship, and the contracts were complete. I open up my cargo, but there's nothing there anymore. So let's see what's available here. Shelter to Nargval, where we just came from. I can do more contracts for 22 silver apiece, or I can fly further to the southwest here to Zatar. You see it down there in the bottom left, and I can make 39 silver apiece. Now, if you're a smart guy or gal and you've got a calculator, you can do some calculations and say, 19 or 39 silver divided by 19 miles, as opposed to 22 silver divided by 10, you'll come out with this here is a better deal. Well, they're essentially the same deal. They're really the same value. So you might as well go to the quicker route, right? So we're going to take 16 of these again. 2, 3, 4. And they respawn pretty quickly. But only at the lower levels. Be warned, once you get higher level and your contracts are worth more money, then this does not happen. They respawn every hour, so be very cautious. You'll have to start doing trade rounds instead of just single back and forth runs, which we'll show you in a coming tutorial, advanced contract trading. Alright, there we go. We got 16 in my ship. Nothing in the flight center. I'm good to go. I'm going to take off. And I could tell myself to auto land at Steel Nargval. There it is down there. But if I do that, my ship won't go very high and will therefore travel a little bit slower because it's at lower altitude. So I'm going to kind of cheat the system here. Make a little bit of a turn to disengage the autopilot and zip on up here to 1500 or so. And I got an email. It turns red when you get an email. Congratulations, you have achieved the neighboring city goal of the first rank. Leprechauns have rewarded you with 2,500 silver. Remember what I said about making tons of money just off of achievements? Well, my contracts were, what, 300 silver? Whereas my achievement was 2,500. That was a huge thing. Now, my next achievement, perform 20 cargo delivery contracts for 5,000 silver. They call it levers, but it's silver. That is already 75% complete because we transported 16 of them. So we're almost already there. So once we drop these off, we're actually going to get that and get another 5,000 silver for free. This is a cool thing about a new character is the new player experience is still very boring and grindy, but it's way more beneficial. The payout is way better than it used to be. I mean, it used to be when you dropped into this game, there was no help at all. There was no achievements. There were no tasks of the day. There was nothing, man. You had to figure it all out yourself. You had to do really crappy contracts that paid nothing. There was no way to make money in the game. It was new players just left because what could they do? But now new players can actually make money. They can be sustained through this achievement system enough to get on their feet and sort of get a head start. In the past, the only way to get ahead was join a guild. That was what they'd always say. Oh, well, join a powerful guild. You'll be fine. Not everyone likes to join guilds. Some people like to solo play, especially if they're learning the game. They don't want to commit to some social thing and then disappear. That's not cool, right? So this sort of supplemented that, which I think is a huge step in the right direction for this game. They have lots to do to make it better, but is a major step. I'm really hoping against hope that they put in a mission system. It just makes sense for this kind of game. We'll see what happens. So, okay, we're going 118. Now we're going 119. You'll see the speed is very, very slowly going up as we increase in altitude. It might look incremental, but 5 more miles an hour makes a big difference if you're traveling 500 miles. As some of the routes that you can take in this game can take you hours. There's some huge trading routes you could take, which we'll cover in commodity trading in a little bit. Not in this tutorial, of course. So we're up to 119. We're probably going to hit 120 at altitude, but since we're getting close to the city, I'm going to start dropping down. Tell my ship to land. You can see it's letting steam out as it goes down. Oop, lag spike. Tasks of the day. The weird thing about tasks of the day is you have to accept them in order to get rewarded for them. You would think it would just give them to you, but I think the reason it does that is if you don't select them, a new task is given to you the next day, whereas if you do select it, it locks that task in until you complete it, which is kind of cool. Then you don't feel rushed to finish it by the end of the day. Like kill 200 dragons. We're not going to accept that task because that's actually a pretty monstrous task for a level 1. Produce 6750 plywood panels. Yeah, we can definitely do that. Extract 150,000 units of IMA. That'll take some work, but it can be done. Extract 500,000 timber. That takes a ton of work. Same with this food. That's why they give you more rewards. So we're going to skip those for now. And we'll come back to those tasks later. We're coming in for a landing here, and we're going to get our contract payout. And we're already going to be at 7,500, a little bit less silver by the time we're done with these 2 runs, which means we can afford better skill. When our ship skills up, we can do better contracts that pay more. I'll probably show you that next stage on one of my other characters so that you can see the end result. You know, how much more can you make when you level up just a little bit. It's a huge increase from level 1 to 5, kind of a steady increase from level 5 to 20, and then after level 20 the contracts really go up and they become your primary source of income. Okay, we're just about landed. By the way, if you're a new player, your ship will have a little green thing down here that says non-PvP player, because new players are not subject to PvP, thank God. You've got protection until, I think, 30 days or until you purchase a warship, which basically says, hey, I'm ready to fight. Alright, so we dropped off our contracts. There's our extra silver. We're at just under 7,500, which is awesome. Now, my pilotage skill is nearly done. It's 4 minutes left. If I wanted to, what it's going to do, if I mouse over it, you look on the right here, it says admits to more ships. Again, that's terrible English, but what it's saying is I can control more ships. Control up to 3 ships equipped with a navigation system. So that means 3 including the one you're on, not 3 in addition. So why don't I check the market? I'll go to all market whenever you use the market, because you don't want to limit yourself to wherever you're parked. So we go to all market, we go to ships. There's a whole bunch of ships available. They're all going to be way above our price range because we're not at that point yet. Brawler is the first level ship, 30,000 silver. That's pretty attainable. It's not too far off, but we're not there yet. We're not ready to buy a Brawler. Boyza, that's a special edition ship. It costs gold. These prices, by the way, they're all set by players. So if you think the prices are unfair, it's because someone's trying to rip you off. It's just like EVE Online, where you get people who come in and try to screw with the market. So best you can do is just ignore those prices, or build them yourself. That's what most of us do, is we build our own stuff because players can be jerks. Paladin, Prospector is the ship I'm currently working towards getting on my main character because it's a mining ship and it's just incredible. Very expensive. Shibe MK2 is the ship that we're flying in. 25,000 silver is a complete and utter ripoff. Do not pay that for a noob ship. That's just unbelievable. Your best bet is, again, if you're a new player, you're going to get free ships. You're going to get the achievement to build a ship, and it will actually give you the resources to do it. You could build a ship right here in your docking bay. Or alternatively, you can, if you do want to buy another noob ship, like let's say Shibe MK2 is what, 10 gold? So let's say you have no gold, you've just got silver. You don't want to pay money to play this game. So you can say, okay, 10 of these at 390 is going to be 3,900 silver. I can actually afford that. I can afford that. So, I mean, I've got hundreds of thousands of gold, but let's pretend I don't. So let me buy 10 gold. Here we go, 10 gold, 390 apiece. It's 3,900. We're kind of poor again, but that's okay. We're going to earn more achievements. The early game is a lot of balancing small amounts of money. As you earn achievements, you'll end up spending it on skills. You'll see skills cost silver, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Hopefully they'll take that out soon. And now I can buy myself a second ship. Let's do that. So let's go to ships. Shibe MK2. We're going to buy one for 10 gold. It's available in this settlement. If I go to all markets, I can buy them in any settlement. They're available in every single settlement in the game. Or if you're a human, they're not Shibes, they're Sutler MK2s or something like that. So now if I click on the Shibe, you notice unlike my ship I started with, which has auto navigation, it has an auto collector which picks up things off the ground, and 2 crystals, this one that I just bought comes with nothing. No enhancers. So at this point you're going to have to start earning this kind of stuff. And it has no guns, which is very dangerous. You need guns for your ship. So let's just buy some guns. How about it? Thankfully guns are super cheap. Now the best guns for 110s are the 1200 M3s. They're kind of expensive, 1,500 a piece. We can't afford that, so we're going to get the cheapest one. Oh, that's funny. 4 for 5,000 or 1 for 1,500. Someone has screwed with the market. Oh, unfortunately, we can't do that. So there's 140s. They're a little bit cheaper at 900. You can get a 150, which is extremely low caliber. We're probably not going to be able to get our hand. Here we go. There's one 150. One available here. You know what? We're not going to buy one. We're just going to skip that for now because unfortunately, the market here has been bombed. Some jerk came in and probably bought everything up because he thought he was funny. Welcome to free market economy, right? We finished pilotage level 2 or level 1. Now we can control up to 3 ships, but I'm going to show you how to do that in the next tutorial. You've learned the basics of contracts, and your first little bit of work here is just going to be doing those basic contracts. Now before we go, I'm going to start up another skill. You always want to be skill training if you can afford it. If not, then don't worry about it, but we can afford to learn one skill. Let's learn magic. It gives us more mana, which is more important for mining later on. Yes, I would like to learn the skill. 6 minutes. All right, we'll be back for the next tutorial.